Just invest $100 a month, and you'll be a millionaire in 30 years. Sound familiar? That's what every financial guru on social media is telling you right now. But here's what they're not telling you, and it's going to shock you. I'm about to expose the biggest lie in the financial advice industry. A lie that's keeping millions of people broke while making these gurus incredibly rich. And no, I'm not talking about some conspiracy theory. I'm talking about cold, hard math that these gurus pray you never figure out. My name is your name, and I've spent the last 5 years studying how real wealth is actually built. Not the fairy tales they sell you online, but the brutal truth about money that nobody wants to talk about. Here's what I discovered. Every single person telling you to just invest in index funds or start a dropshipping business is making more money from you than they ever made following their own advice. And today, I'm going to prove it. In the next 15 minutes, you're going to learn why the math behind their advice literally cannot work for most people, the psychological tricks they use to keep you buying their courses, what they're actually doing with their money while telling you to do something completely different, and most importantly, what you should do instead if you actually want to build real wealth. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that these financial gurus all look the same? Designer clothes, expensive cars, luxury offices. They're living like millionaires while teaching people making $50,000 a year how to save their way to wealth. Doesn't that seem backwards? Here's the uncomfortable truth. If their advice actually worked, they wouldn't need to sell courses. They'd be too busy being rich from following their own strategies. But they're not. They're rich from selling you the dream of getting rich. And I'm about to show you exactly how this whole game works. Let's start with the most popular advice you hear everywhere. Just invest $200 a month in the stock market, and with compound interest, you'll be a millionaire in 30 years. Sounds amazing, right? Here's the problem. Let's actually do the math they don't want you to do. $200 a month for 30 years, assuming a 7% annual return, which is optimistic, gets you to about $610,000. Not a million, but let's say you somehow get that million. Congratulations. You're 65 years old and you have $1 million. But wait, there's more. Inflation. That $1 million in 30 years has the buying power of about $400,000 in today's money. So you've essentially worked for 30 years to have less purchasing power than $500,000 today. Oh, and you still need to pay taxes on that money when you withdraw it. So you're looking at maybe $320,000 in real purchasing power after 30 years of disciplined investing. Now here's the kicker. While you were slowly building this nest egg, the financial guru who sold you this advice made millions selling courses to people like you. In fact, many of these gurus make more money in one product launch than you'll make following their advice for a decade. But it gets worse. Let's talk about their other favorite piece of advice. Live below your means. They tell you to cut out your $5 coffee, cancel Netflix, eat rice and beans. Meanwhile, they're posting Instagram stories from private jets. Here's what they don't tell you. Living below your means only works if your means are already high. If you're making $40,000 a year, living below your means might save you $5,000 a year. Congratulations, you can now invest $400 a month instead of $200. You'll be rich in only 25 years instead of 30. But if you're making $400,000 a year, living below your means might save you $100,000 a year. See the difference? The advice only works if you're already making serious money. And if you're making serious money, you probably don't need their basic advice. This is what I call the guru's paradox. Their advice is designed for people who don't need it, sold to people who desperately do need it, but for whom the advice won't actually work. The real question is, why aren't they teaching you how to increase your income by 10x instead of how to save 10% more? Because that's harder to package into a $97 course. Making more money requires developing real skills, taking real risks, and doing real work. Saving money just requires saying no to things. Which one do you think sells better as a simple system? Now let's talk about the psychological manipulation happening here, because this is where it gets really dark. These financial gurus have mastered something called solution aversion. They know that if they told you the truth, that building real wealth requires years of skill development, significant risk-taking, and probably multiple failures. You click away and never buy their course. So instead, they sell you on the lie that wealth building is simple, safe, and certain. Just follow my 3-step system. Set it and forget it. Anyone can do this. They're not selling you financial advice. They're selling you hope. And hope is the most expensive thing you can buy. Here's how the psychological trap works. First, they create urgency. This offer expires at midnight. Only 100 spots available. They know that when people feel rushed, they make emotional decisions instead of logical ones. Second, they use social proof. Look at all these success stories. But have you ever noticed that these success stories never include specifics? I went from broke to 6 figures, but they never tell you it took 5 years, or that they already had a business degree, or that their spouse was supporting them the whole time. Third, they exploit your status anxiety. They know you're frustrated with your financial situation, and they position their course as the secret that separates the wealthy from everyone else. This is what rich people don't want you to know. Fourth, they make it feel risk-free. 30-day money-back guarantee. But they know that most people won't ask for refunds because it feels like admitting failure. And here's the most insidious part. They structure their advice so that when it doesn't work, it's your fault. You didn't follow the system exactly. You weren't committed enough. You gave up too soon. This is brilliant marketing because it means they never have to take responsibility for selling ineffective advice. It's always the customer's fault. But here's what really happens. You buy the course, you follow the advice, and after 6 months you realize you're not getting rich quick. But instead of blaming the guru, you blame yourself. So you buy another course, and another, and another. The average person who gets into the financial guru ecosystem spends over $3,000 on courses and coaching in their first year. That's $3,000 that could have actually been invested or used to develop real skills. Meanwhile, the guru just made more money from selling you hope than you made following their advice. And here's the crazy part. They're not even following their own advice. While they're telling you to invest in index funds, they're investing in their own businesses. While they're telling you to live frugally, they're spending lavishly on marketing to sell more courses. They've figured out that selling advice about getting rich is more profitable than actually following the advice. And they're using your money to prove it. So what are these financial gurus actually doing to build their wealth? Let me pull back the curtain on the real business model. First, they're building media companies disguised as educational content. Every YouTube video, every Instagram post, every free webinar, it's all just advertising for their paid products. They're not teachers, they're marketers with a very specific product to sell. Their real skill isn't investing or budgeting. It's audience building and sales psychology. And that's actually a valuable skill, but it's not the skill they're claiming to teach you. Second, they're leveraging other people's money at massive scale. While they tell you to slowly invest $200 a month, they're taking thousands of dollars from thousands of students and investing that in their business growth. They're using your course fees to fund their lifestyle and business expansion. Think about it. If a guru sells a $2,000 course to 1,000 people in a month, that's $2 million in revenue in 1 month, while teaching you to be patient and wait 30 years to build wealth. Third, they're diversifying their income streams in ways they never teach. They have course sales, affiliate commissions, speaking fees, book deals, coaching programs, masterminds, and often multiple businesses. They're not putting all their money in index funds. They're building business empires. Fourth, they're optimizing for tax advantages that most people can't access. Business expenses, depreciation, offshore accounts. They're keeping more of their money while you're paying full tax rates on your slow-growing investments. But here's the most important thing they're doing. They're building systems that generate money whether they work or not. Their courses sell while they sleep. Their affiliate links earn commissions 24/7. Their YouTube videos make ad revenue for years. While they're teaching you to trade time for money at a slightly higher rate, they're building businesses that make money without their direct involvement. And this is the real lesson. If you want to build wealth like they do, you need to build systems like they do, not follow the simplified advice they sell to the masses. The financial gurus aren't wrong about everything. Building wealth is about creating multiple income streams, investing in growth assets, and thinking long-term. But they're not teaching you how to actually do those things at scale. They're teaching you the baby steps while they're running marathons. And then they wonder why you're not keeping up. So what should you actually do if you want to build real wealth? Here's the uncomfortable truth that no one wants to hear. First, accept that building significant wealth requires building significant skills. Not tips and tricks, but real, valuable skills that solve real problems for real people. This takes years, not weeks. Second, understand that real wealth comes from ownership, not employment. You need to own something, a business, real estate, intellectual property, equity in companies. Saving money from a job will never make you truly wealthy. Third, learn to think in systems, not goals. Don't just set a goal to make $100,000. Build a system that could potentially generate $100,000. Then scale that system. Fourth, get comfortable with risk and failure. Every wealthy person has failed multiple times. The difference is they learned from failures and kept trying. Most financial guru advice is designed to minimize risk, which also minimizes potential returns. Fifth, focus on increasing your income potential before optimizing your expenses. A 10% raise has more impact than cutting 10% of your spending. And a business that generates an extra $1,000 a month beats most investment strategies. The real secret that financial gurus don't want you to know: building wealth is hard work, it takes time, and there are no guarantees. But it's absolutely possible if you're willing to develop real skills and take calculated risks. Look, I'm not saying all financial education is bad. Learning about money, investing, and business is crucial. But be very careful who you're learning from and why they're teaching. Ask yourself, is this person making money from their advice or from selling their advice? Are they teaching you to build wealth or to buy their next course? The best financial education comes from people who are wealthy because they follow their own advice, not because they sold their advice to others. Here's my challenge to you. Stop buying courses about getting rich and start learning skills that actually make you valuable. Stop looking for shortcuts and start building systems. Stop following gurus and start thinking for yourself. The financial gurus aren't evil, but they're not your savior either. They're business people selling a product, and that product is hope packaged as a system. Real wealth building is messier, harder, and takes longer than they pretend. But it's also more rewarding, more sustainable, and more real than anything they're selling. Your money is too important to waste on false promises. Invest it in yourself, in real skills, and in real opportunities. That's the only guru advice you'll ever need. If this opened your eyes to the financial guru game, hit that like button and let me know in the comments what guru advice you've fallen for before. And subscribe for more videos that tell you the truth about money. Not what you want to hear, but what you need to know.